This woman had quietly sold vegetables in the village for 10 years, and the villagers never knew that she had 3 incredibly remarkable daughters-in-law. It wasn't until one day, when several luxury cars surrounded her vegetable stand, that the villagers discovered her true identity. It turned out that all 3 of her daughters-in-law were highly influential. Her eldest daughter-in-law was the daughter of the wealthiest family in the area, the Din family, and was both rich and powerful. Her second daughter-in-law was a top Hollywood star, while her youngest daughter-in-law was not only a world boxing champion, but also the head of the largest martial arts school in the country. This woman had been secretly coming to the countryside to sell vegetables, and she had not even let her daughters-in-law know about it. She did this because this was her husband's hometown. She had been waiting here for her husband, a man who had been missing for 30 years, to return. The story began 30 years ago. At that time, the woman's husband wanted to earn more money, so he entrusted his elderly parents to her care and went to the city to work alone. To avoid worrying her husband, the woman secretly hid the fact that she was already pregnant. After he left, however, he completely lost contact and disappeared without a trace. 30 years flew by, and the woman raised 3 sons with great effort. Her 3 sons were very successful. Their joint research attracted the attention of the government, and the 3 brothers were assigned to a secret base to conduct scientific experiments. Only the 3 daughters-in-law remained at home to take care of their mother-in-law. The woman quietly continued to sell vegetables in the countryside, waiting for her husband's return. One day, the village chief called to inform her that her husband had finally come back and was looking for her. She was told to return home to reunite with him. When the woman joyfully opened the door of their old house, eager for an emotional reunion with her husband, she was pushed aside by a strange woman. This woman was her husband's mistress. It turned out that 30 years ago, her husband had betrayed her, and his return was actually to divorce her and marry the mistress. The woman could not believe it. After waiting for 30 years and working hard to support the family, she had been betrayed by her husband. The man felt no remorse because the mistress had given him children and used all her assets to help him start a business. The mistress even mocked the woman for spending her whole life selling vegetables, unable to help her husband. The man looked at her poor, dilapidated appearance and felt she was no longer worthy to be his wife. Angrily, the woman called him heartless, but she was dragged out by his bodyguards and eventually thrown out of the house. Meanwhile, the 3 daughters-in-law were frantically searching for their mother-in-law around the village, asking house by house, but the village was too large and they couldn't find her. They were in a panic like ants on a hot pan. Since the woman had been kicked out of the house, she quickly sent her location to the 3 daughters-in-law to ask them to come to pick her up. Suspicious that something had happened to their mother-in-law, the 3 daughters-in-law immediately rushed to the countryside, determined to seek justice for her.